Hey,
Hi, good evening.
what's going? What's going?
How are you doing, Jeff? Good. Hold on one second.
Take your time.
Okay.
Take your time.
Yeah, no, I'm settling in. I wish I had my microphone. I couldn't find it tonight. So hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah, you good. You loud and clear. I can hear you.
Okay,
Just want to turn you up a little bit on the boards.
great.
All right. So, Amber, I'm just doing my basic introduction, and I'm gonna introduce you. We're gonna get right into it. Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right. Here we go. 10 seconds. What is up? What is up, everybody? We are live. We are live. We are live, and welcome to another episode of the hottest podcast in the world, Saucy Conversations, Season 5, Episode 5. We want to thank everybody for joining in on the live stream. We live on YouTube. We live on Twitch. We live on our Facebook page. So thank you for joining in today. And if you're not watching the live video, if you listen to the audio, we appreciate you for listening. When you're at work, whether in the car, where you just clean up the house or whatever, we appreciate you for listening to this podcast. And I got to pay some bills. So let's get right into it. Shout out to our sponsors, Holistic Remedies. Make sure you go and actually support Black-owned company and everything. And also, when you get to the checkout, use the promo code HR Meat Saucy. Okay, HR Meat Saucy, you get 10% off. All right, at checkout. And also, shout out to our other sponsor, which is Click A Vodka. Okay, now let me say something right now. Let me say something right now. Okay, I warn y'all about this liquor. Okay, yes, it's good. It's nice and smooth, but it sneaks up on you. I've been telling y'all this for years, but y'all want to hit me up on the email, the DM, saying why you didn't warn us about this. Look, I warned you, so I'm warning you now and again. Yes, this liquor is so good. This vodka is so good. It's nice and smooth. It's very good on ice and everything. But listen, this stuff will sneak up on you. You have to call a cab after you finish drinking this. Okay, so take your time. Mix it up with some good lemonade or whatever like that. But take it slow. Okay. Shout out to Click A Vodka. Been rocking with us since day one of this podcast. Shout out to my co-hosts, Dad, Bernice, Mac, to the whole Saucy family. We appreciate you. Gonna hold it down for you. Um, but let's get right into it, man. I got a special guest in the house. I've been knowing this brilliant, beautiful queen since 2015. Since I came into the NBA family,
Yes.
I had seen her grow. She has seen me grow. I'm so proud of her and her accomplishments, man.
Oh,
She does everything. She works for the NBA. She's social responsibility program manager. Man, even not doing work with NBA, she's always active. She always, on the front line trying to make a change in our world today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome to Social Conversations, the only, the real Emma Scott.
oh, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the show, my
What
queen.
a
How you doing?
what a kind introduction. Thank you.
Oh, you deserve it. You deserve it. Definitely.
Oh my gosh, when you said 2015, we're old.
Oh yeah. NBA is real old.
In that one. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Amber, we got a lot to pack up in this hour. So let me just start with this.
Mhm.
How you doing? How was your day? Talk to me. How you doing?
Yeah, wow. I appreciate you asking. My day is going fine. I got back from work not too long ago. You know, I live in New Jersey, gotta get up to New York, so that is always a trek just getting up into the office. But
Mhm.
work was good. We have the elections coming up, and everybody
Absolutely.
go vote.
Oh yeah.
Please make sure you vote ahead of election day next Tuesday. But I do work on all of our election efforts at work, and so that means I am very busy right now. So all great things. and always just really blessed to especially be able to advocate for people to exercise their civic duty to vote. So grateful for that. But yeah, the day's good. I just finished teaching Bible study. So
Okay, you,
uh,
okay, you got so many hats you wear.
yeah, so that was a really nice way. Well, this is the best way to end the day, but that was also a nice way to go into my evening, just teaching Bible study today and being with folks. So I'm feeling okay. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little tired, but I am blessed and we're here.
Yes, yes.
I have been feeling a little heavy, especially after the news with takeoff yesterday.
Absolutely. Sad,
Um,
sad, sad, sad.
which I feel like you probably would have gotten into, or maybe
No, I didn't really have a chance to address it yet. No,
yeah,
my other podcast, we would just, it's a sports podcast, so we just rather it was like going into it and stuff like that, going at it.
yeah.
It's more like a debate show, so we didn't really have time to get into it. 'Cause it was
Okay.
long winded in our debates, but we could take time out. No, right now, if you want to say something about it.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, this is my long-winded way of answering your question, but you asked how I'm doing, and I, I would be remiss if I didn't mention one how I'm feeling just in terms of seeing another black person, a young black person, dead and murdered. It's tiresome, and I have a feeling that I'm I know I'm not alone. I know a lot of our peers and folks in our community are probably also feeling tired and obviously grieving, but it's just like it's draining. And so just finding the balance between sitting with those feelings and not growing numb, right, to seeing and dealing with another death, but then also you have to balance it with like we still have responsibilities and like life has to go on. So just torn between those feelings.
No, absolutely. Actually, feel the same way. I'm not really too familiar with Migos music.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of an old head. That's not my era. I'm kind of like 90s, 96, mid 90s, early 2000s
Yes,
type of
yes,
guy. I'm a
yes.
Jay
I
Z type of guy. I'm that era. You know what I'm saying? But I do pay attention to the new rappers and stuff like that. This new wave, and
Yeah.
I know the Mingos. They've been in there for 10 plus years. They got a lot of hits and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, like you said, it's a very uncomfortable feeling, especially the way the circumstances that we learned that actually happened over a dice game. We heard a lot of stories like that, especially come from the Bronx. A lot of deaths over dice games.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So it's
mm.
we just have to do better
Yeah,
as a community and actually look towards education and stuff like that to get a deeper understanding of who we are as a people. And once we do that and come to the knowledge of ourselves, we actually would be on one accord and start acting right.
be on one accord.
Yeah,
That's the word right there. Be on
one
one
accord.
accord.
That's the key.
Yes.
And once we do that, then you see the blessings from the Most High actually
Yeah.
given back to us and actually give us the power and the structure to actually get back what we used to be on this
Exactly.
planet Earth.
Exactly. 100%.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. How are you feeling today?
I'm doing good. I'm blessed and highly flavored. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm just actually in a great space right now. I got a lot of projects going on. As you know, I got the network coming up, so we actually planning on doing a photo shoot and getting the merch done for the network. Adding more content creators and stuff like that to the network. I'm trying to build my own YouTube.
Yes.
Because YouTube.
Media empire.
Yes, yes, and everything is owned 100% by me, and you don't have any restrictions to have 100 subscribers to make money. Start making money. You can just start making money right away. So I got a lot of shows that's actually being created right now, and we're just gonna keep moving forward. I got music coming out as
Yeah.
well, other projects with other artists. So it's gonna be a good year next year. I can say that definitely. But thanks for
You
asking.
yes, reaping the harvest from all that you've planted. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, congratulations to you. I'm just so proud of you. And I think that's so important in terms of, well, it's a few things, the ownership piece
Mhm.
of our own platforms, but also being diverse in skill sets is so important. Yeah, and just having like multiple outlets and streams. Not I would say revenue streams. Yes, multiple revenue streams, but also like multiple passions, right? Like
Right,
streams of
right.
passions that you're pouring into.
Yeah, it's a lot. We got music, other podcasts. We got
Yeah.
um short films. I know a lot of independent artists that need to get their projects out there. So why not do it on
Mm,
my platform? So
exactly.
yeah. So it is not about me, it's about you. No, don't
Oh,
try to
okay.
turn the
All
tables
right.
down. Don't try to turn the tables down. Okay. Let's get right into your
Like I,
story.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask questions though, because
no, that's cool. You can ask all the questions you want. So let's start with the beginning. Tell us, where did you grow up? Tell us about the household structure, mom, pops. You got any siblings and stuff?
yeah. Um, so I adore my family. Very close knit family, both my immediate family and extended family. So my story starts before me. Like I have to just start with my parents because their love is so beautiful. So my parents are both from Troy, Alabama, and they're high school sweethearts. And when they got married, well, went to college, got married right after college. They went to college in Alabama, and then they moved to New Jersey and had me. So I'm the eldest out of three children. I was born in Trenton, New Jersey. Notice I said Trenton. Like people who are from Trenton, we don't say Trenton, we say Trenton. Born in Trenton, New Jersey, and then when I was 5, my parents moved us um, to a suburb not too far from Trenton called Robbinsville. Um, and then I was 5. My brother and sister, Chad and Chelsea, were born, so they're twins. And yeah, you want to know about like the family structure and things like that?
Yeah, I just want to know like how was it growing up under the your parents' household, and
Yeah,
was they strict? Like
yeah.
stuff that. Yeah,
Okay, sure. Yeah. So, the reason why I talk about my parents, one, because the love that they have for each other, I think that just shapes our family so much. That's why I start with them. Um, I've never seen, a couple that just knows each other, one another as well as they do. So I think that is important to talk about as I think about like my child rearing. Um, and just how that love like permeates. I will say we didn't come from a family that was like very mushy gushy, like oh I love you, like all that stuff. Like that's not our
yeah,
mo.
yeah.
Um, but in terms of action and showing love through action and showing up for one another, like that's the way that I've learned love. And actually, that's now that I think about it, that's the way I show love through
Actually,
action and doing for others. So yeah, so there's that. We also, by my family being from Alabama, even though we were in New Jersey, I'll say like very much a southern household from down from their accents to we went back to Alabama all the time, multiple times a year growing up and spending summers in Alabama, spending holidays. So yes, I was born and raised in New Jersey, but Alabama is definitely home to me, or is home to me. Um, and in terms of my parents, like they were strict to a point, not like overbearing, but my especially my mother stayed on us, like on top of us schoolwork wise, just instilled a sense of discipline in us. But you know, I will say after a while, I think a lot of the pressure was actually more one self-inflicted, and two it came as a result of the environment that I grew up in. So I mentioned I was born in Trenton, right, which is primarily black. my parents moved us to Robbinsville after, like I said, I was 5. Robbinsville is a very predominantly white area, which is nothing wrong with that. But as a young black girl, being one of 3, I literally was one of 3 black girls from kindergarten through like 10th grade. I think we may have gotten some more. Maybe it was like 5.
It's a culture shock. It's a culture shock.
Yeah, maybe it was like
Yeah.
5 of us by the time we graduated. um,
Yeah, tell more about that. How was it moving to
yeah,
Robbinsville and
that was definitely very interesting. And I didn't even think much of it, right? And this goes into just like I was actually just teaching a Bible study about uh race, like race and religion. But you think about it, like kids don't think about race. Like but I do remember the first time I actually had to think about race, which was when I was in 3rd grade, and I was getting on the school bus. We had to take the school bus to school, and I don't know if you ever taken the school bus, but that's actually a very traumatizing, and maybe this is just the introvert in me, but that's a very traumatizing thing because you're standing at the front of the school bus, especially if you're the last one to get on. I was the last one to get on this day.
oh man, you had the Forrest Gump experience?
Yes, where there's nowhere to sit and no one wants you to sit next to them. And so I'm standing in the front of the bus, just hoping somebody will scoot over for me. I see a seat next to my neighbor who literally lives maybe 3 houses away from me. And he puts his hand over his seat and he says, "You can't sit here. I'm allergic to black people." And I was like,
What?
yes. And so, 3rd grade, so I was like 8, like my 8-year-old self was like, what? Like, hold
That's
on.
crazy.
No, I'm good. That's my dad.
Oh, okay.
So yes,
Well,
so
I want a chicken sandwich. Go ahead.
I know, right? So that was the first time I really had to deal with race and just understanding like why am I different? We're neighbors, like this is crazy to me. Why don't like it just made no sense. And so ever since then, especially from elementary through middle and high school, I felt this need to prove people wrong. um he was like, "I'm allergic to black people." That happened. There were other times where classmates confronted me like, "Oh, like black people aren't as smart, or y'all only eat fried chicken." Or I even saw, like, I had classmates who wore blackface to school during Halloween, like because they thought it was funny to dress up as Flava Flav, like stuff like that. um where I always felt like I had to advocate for all black people. Like I said, there's only one of 3 black girls, maybe like 4 black boys in our grade, and I just felt a need to prove people wrong, to be like, hey, actually we are really smart and we're beautiful and brilliant. And that's when I got into athletics. I started running track in middle school, like, and we're also really athletic, and like, just more so I can excel and do even more than you, right? And
Right.
so I say all that to say, like, my parents definitely were on us and kept a certain structure, but a lot of it became me feeling this need, like this unspoken need. No one ever said that to me explicitly, but like I felt this need to, based off various encounters I had, to prove people wrong and just excel in all facets of life.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, with me, it was a little bit more different with me because
mhm,
first of all, I have uncles that was like ex Black Panthers, so
mm,
they still this thing, and when you actually are young, like, look here, this world out here it's not what this ain't Disney Channel.
no, Disney Channel. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And my father, he's also from down south as well. He's what
Oh, what part?
Savannah, Georgia, and my mother's
Mm.
from Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where at in Durham exactly?
I can't remember where in Durham. I just know Durham. That's where my
Okay.
whole family's from.
Did we ever talk about that? I don't know we've talked about that.
No, I don't think we ever talked about that.
You know,
Yeah.
that's where I lived at for 3 years in
Yeah,
Durham
right.
when
Because
I
you
was
was
in
at
grad
Duke, right?
school. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we talked about it a little bit. We didn't really dive into it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So
So,
Savannah and Durham. Got it.
So I always grew up with this whole knowledge of self type of background and how the world receives you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when I went to school with other minorities. The only Caucasian folks where I had in my life were my teachers.
Hmm.
There wasn't no classmates that was white. It was all black, Hispanic, Asian, and a little sprinkle of Native American. I can make
Mm.
jokes about it because I'm half Native American myself. So
Yes.
yeah, so a little sprinkle of Native American, but at the end of the day, my world was totally different from that.
Mm.
But you know, while you were in school, I know was sports like was it like it sounded like it was an escape for you
Oh
to get
yeah,
away from all the nonsense that was the racism and the nonsense around you. That was an escape for you. It was like therapy for you.
exactly. Yeah, you nailed it right on. Introvert, definitely a quiet kid, rule follower. You know, even though I was feeling these things, um, I never really. Well, obviously, I expressed it to my parents, family, but you know, never was the one to actively like speak out and like condemning these things, right? Especially through middle school and high school. Maybe a little bit more in high school, actually. But yeah, sports was a way for me to release, especially running. I started running. I always played basketball since probably like second or third grade. But I really got into track around fifth and sixth grade and realized I was fast. And so that was a time for me, um, really to just let it all out literally on the track. To this day, I still run. Like I ran through college and still run when I can now. And like the way I explain it to people is that feeling after a workout, like after you finish your run, for me, like that is when I have the clearest mind.
Mm,
Like that,
yeah.
like everything's just whew, woosah, like everything's just left your body because you've literally given this workout your all. So I'm like, I am physically depleted, but like I'm also spiritually like that's the clearest. And that's for me, like when I hear and discern and just process things in the clearest form possible. So I don't think if you would have asked me that or would I have been able to explain that in middle school? No, but I just didn't, I wouldn't have been able to put a name to those feelings, but that's definitely even some of the feelings that I was experiencing
Right. So
back when I came there.
was you like any good in basketball? You know, was you like Candace Parker or somebody that was
I
going on?
thought, yo, me and my girlfriends, because I think we may have been in like fifth grade, sixth grade when Love and Basketball came out.
Oh, that's my movie right there. That's my movie.
Great movie. We watched Love and Basketball. Oh my gosh, probably like 30 or 40 times. But we just knew we were going to the WNBA. We were going to play at in South Carolina, like what's her name? Monica in the movie. We were going to the W. You couldn't tell us nothing.
Yeah, you just going in like in the games, like Liberty games and stuff like that.
Yep, we used to go to the Liberty games. We were here in Jersey.
Mm.
So I was okay. I wasn't a great shooter. So like I was a great defender, could get up and down the court, but terrible shooter. So once high school came around, I'm like, you know what? Let me just focus on track full time.
Well, don't feel bad. I was not good either. I played I played basketball and football as well. I was
Uh,
more better in
through high
football than
school.
yeah. I was actually better in football than actually basketball. I was alright in basketball. I was alright.
I'm sure you held your own.
I could give you a couple of Shaq moves real quick, but after that, no, I was terrible. I was terrible. What
Oh,
was there any other like just sticking with school? Was there any other like classes that you was actually into? Was you like a more like an English person, math person, science?
Oh, okay. I love history.
Oh, see,
I love history,
I
and I
love history
really,
too.
yeah, like history is just, yeah, it's just an amazing one. It's just so critical to know where you came from, right? Like going back to like Sankofa, which I know is a popular um Ghanaian term that people refer to, but like I really do believe in the power of the Sankofa bird, right? You have to look back in order to know where you're going.
Right.
Um, Writing, I always love like English and writing. I actually do, get my thoughts out like through writing. Like I love journaling, so I've always loved writing and learning history.
Nice, nice.
Hmm.
So, what was your actually what you actually pictured yourself in school? What you just see yourself going? What you actually wanted to be when you actually get to college and stuff like that?
Yeah. I went through two I guess phases in terms of vocations I thought I was going to go into. I really thought I was going to be a broadcaster, like a broadcast like journalist, which is funny given like I said I definitely am an introvert, but I don't mind. I could be on for a little bit, like if you give me a set time like this.
Right, right, right,
You
right.
talk to me for an hour, you need me to do like a conversation for a little bit, like a set amount of time. I love that. I can do that. Um, but I do, need to regroup and go back into my little quiet corner and recharge. So at first I thought I was going to be a journalist. Wanted to be a news anchor, intern at a news station in high
Uh-huh.
school in the beginning of college, and had quite a few mentors that I made during those 2 or 3 years that were actually like, don't do it.
Damn.
Yeah, they're like, don't do it. Broadcast journalism is changing, which I mean, it has. That was back in like 2008, 2009, like
Oh yeah,
10.
yeah. I can feel that.
Things are different. So then I thought I was going to be an attorney. I really wanted to be a lawyer.
I can see that. I can see that.
Really?
Yeah, I can see you being an attorney. You know, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get your little order on.
Yeah.
It's for you going on. I see you. I get it.
Yeah, so I thought I was going to be an attorney for a while. But I it's funny, I always loved athletics. Always like I said, I was an athlete since a young girl, but I never realized you could work in sports. So I will say, the NBA, I kind of fell into the NBA, like happened to be recruiting at my college my junior year, and the rest is history after interning at the
Mhm.
league. So, but yeah, thought I was going to be a journalist and then an attorney.
That's ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm actually taking up sports broadcasting and media science right now at Full Sail University. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm trying to like learn. I'm trying to be an on air personality, but I really want to know what's going on behind the scenes, especially starting this network. So like, what's
yes,
going on? Which I do.
all the technical aspects.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm taking up right now.
That is that a 1 year, 2 year program?
It's a 2 year program. It's a bachelor's.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what's up.
yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely. I started in May, so doing good, doing good.
Okay. Well, I'm a nerd, so I'm always curious. Like, let me see your syllabi. What are you reading? Like, always curious to know like what new things you're learning. So
No,
please
absolutely,
share.
yeah, absolutely. Um, so after high school, let's go into college. So I know you went
Mm.
to Pennsylvania, right? Uh,
Yep, UPenn.
UPenn. Tell us about that experience at UPenn.
Ooh, we had a time.
Oh, yeah,
Lord, this
party,
is
huh?
live. Oh yeah. Oh Lord. We-
Oh,
I'm a pastor now. I don't know if I can be talking about
was you really nervous starting? You know, was you really nervous starting, like going to
going to
UPenn?
college.
Yeah, yeah. Was you nervous? Like you?
No, I went to school an hour away from where I lived at, and
Oh,
and that was I will say that was purposeful. I knew I wanted to be in a city, so I was looking at schools in New York. I was looking at schools in Philly. I did look at some like upstate schools, upstate New York schools, but ultimately landed on UPenn. So I wasn't nervous. Sorry, do you hear a feedback on your end?
No, not on my end. No.
Oh, I wonder what that is. Um, I just hear like a weird, like a slight echo on my end. Um, but yes, so I wasn't nervous because I kind of had that like padding of knowing that I was just an hour away, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, but going in freshman year, I had a time, couldn't tell me nothing. I was on the track team, hanging out with all the other athletes. Um, Philly, my first time living in a big city. And the great thing about Penn is it's its own campus, but you are in the heart of Philly. So you see a lot of things. I've seen everything from, unfortunately, like a shootout on my campus to like, like parades just happening like randomly through the park. Like you're in the city. So um it was a time. So my freshman year was great. Definitely had fun during orientation, partying. That was the first time I got introduced to Greek life.
Oh.
You know, saw the Kappa shimmying in the party, like all that stuff. So that's
Okay.
always fun.
So you can say you had a little freedom. You had to worry
Yeah,
about. You had to worry about moms and all that.
yeah.
You had a little freedom.
Even though,
You act up a little bit.
yeah, even though since I was so close, I didn't think about this. My parents did show up whenever they wanted to.
Oh, they stuck up on you like, uh-huh.
Yeah, especially my mama.
Yeah.
But that I was grateful for that. So yeah, freshman year was great. Sophomore year went online. So I'm a Delta, best sorority, Delta Sigma Theta sorority incorporated. So went online my sophomore year. So like that took up a lot of time, as you can imagine. So that whole year is kind of like a blur, to be honest. And then trying to balance that with track was definitely a memorable time. But junior and senior year, back in the action. Especially once you're Greek, going through Philly, having a wonderful time. It was great. And then I studied communications, so grateful for the educational opportunities. Grateful for I also was an urban studies major, so like urban education. Got a chance to like really have practical classes. Like a lot of my classes were actually going out into the city. Like I taught in a high school, met with like various nonprofits and things like that. Actually interned at a local like media company at one point as part of my communications major. So, Penn was great for it was a lot of like real life application, not just from a social perspective, because you were, 19, 20, living in a city. So there's things you gotta like grow up on, right? Like grow up about, right?
Yeah.
And mature on. But then also from an educational standpoint, um a lot, like I said, a lot of real life application, at least as much as you can do as a college student, right? So I did appreciate that. And we also had this thing called spring fling, which was really fun. Have you heard of that by any chance?
It sound like spring bling, like BT or something.
Wait, yeah. Oh yeah. So Spring Fling is a week-long party in April on campus that culminates in a big concert. So while I was in school, Snoop Dogg came, Kid Cudi, uh, who else? We had, like pretty like good names. Kendrick Lamar came at one point. That was before he like really, really blew up.
Okay.
So we had some good times.
Okay.
Yeah. College was great. I had to whew, after I graduated though, I had to get back with the Lord, because definitely and that is part of my I'll tell anybody this. Like that's actually part of like my testimony, my call story. I don't think I was any worse or abnormal than any other college student, but I will say um, growing up in the church, right? That was a big part of my childhood. And then when I went to college, definitely lost touch there. Um, Spiritually, from a pure like priority standpoint, it was really just school, track, delta, socializing, right? And like not really leaving room for church or anything. And so when
Was
I
you like rebellious, like a little bit rebellious? Because you know, as teenagers, we get a little rebellious, and
yeah,
all the stuff we taught since the cradle, like, whatever.
it
Put them
wasn't
out
even
there.
the rebellious, and I agree with that. I do think a lot, I've seen that happen. It wasn't even like rebellious, whether it be intentional or unintentional. It was purely just like I didn't have time, like, like,
Yeah, I can
and
see
that
that.
sounds crazy, like, and that's in the selfish, right? And I did have time because how do you not have time,
Right, right.
right, to create space for your spirituality? But in my 19-20-year-old mind, I'm like, oh well, this is all like more important, and I don't have time to get up on Sunday, or I don't have time to go to Bible study, or even just like waking up in the morning and praying, like, don't have time for that. Like, it was just it in hindsight doesn't make any sense, but in that moment, right, I just was like, oh, that can just take a back burner. And then when I graduated, I realized, yes, like I just graduated from my dream school. I have my dream job at the NBA. All these things, like on paper, it should be great. But in reality, I was very depressed when I graduated.
Mm,
I was very depressed. And it was because I'd been, especially for like that first year after I graduated. So I graduated in 2013, like that first year, like 2014, like in trickling in 2015, like I was just pouring into all the wrong things that just weren't making me happy. Right.
mm,
I felt like I had to continue um I mean, I was working very, very hard, new at a new job, which I absolutely loved, like at the league. So I'm working hard in that, but then I'm also like pouring into, prioritizing the social scene and going out all the time and feeling like I need to be on the scene and be in the mix. But I just I wasn't pouring into myself, and I wasn't being filled spiritually. And so I was just depleted and lost. And so, that's a long-winded answer if you asked about my
no, no,
college
you good. You good.
experience.
You good.
But yeah, like, and I think a lot of people, if you ask like my friends or anybody who knew me during that time, they're like, no, like, nah, Amber is fine. No, like, I was sad, like, very sad. I mean, I tried to mask it, but um, yeah, that was a hard time for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, you're not the only one. Put on that mask. I know a lot, especially myself. Just going through everyday life and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
and you're doing other things that's not making you happy. So you really got to put on this mask to actually go to these places. Like, yeah, I'm good, and then
Yep.
behind the scenes, you're like you balling up and you're crying. You're trying to figure things out, like you and like you mentioned, like you said, like you didn't have any time for like church and stuff like that. With me when I became a teenager, I was the rebellious one. I'm a pastor's son. So it's like you're growing up like a fish in a fishbowl. Everybody looking at you, like, where he going? Is he going the right path? You going the right?
Managing your every move.
Yo, it was crazy. So that type of pressure I couldn't even actually do because it felt like I couldn't be myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like hell with this. I'm gonna go do my own thing and start getting into other things that was unnecessary and was becoming a person that
Mm,
I really didn't think that I would actually be during that time. Just getting in the
wow.
streets and stuff like that, gangs
Yep.
and all that and all that other bad stuff that actually plague our community today. But before I came back in the truth, but yeah,
But in
I
that
feel you do.
moment, though, that I'm assuming, like, did you know in that moment that that wasn't who you were? At least, I do believe in. I do think at people's core, you are who you are. But I do think people go through seasons, right, where you're different versions of yourself, right?
Yeah, well, with
So,
me, what turned me off about church? It was the stuff that was going on inside the church
mm,
that nobody's really addressing. You see members of the trustee board stealing money.
Yep.
You seen teenagers in the church having sex inside the church.
Yep.
You seen grown folks cursing in front of you. So all this hypocrisy is going on inside the church, but
We don't
everybody
want to address it.
they don't want to address it, and they want to go out in the world and actually recruit people into the church, into
Exactly. Or
churches,
criticize other
and
people who won't
criticize other
join the
people.
church.
Exactly, and dump their Bible. You ain't supposed to be doing this, and you ain't supposed to be doing that, but you ain't doing it in your own damn church. That's a
Exactly.
problem. You know how much of a, excuse my language, a mind fuck that is.
Yeah.
it's
Because it's
it,
like, how do you reconcile? As like a teenager, as a kid, you're like, how do I reconcile all this?
yeah, and then you're like, hell with this. I'm gonna go find my own way. And
Mm-hmm.
and I believe like the Most High is your life is actually crafted the way He wants it to be,
Mm-hmm.
and during that way, He's gonna test you to see where you're gonna go. But at the end of the day, He already know the ending of the story, and He knows whether you're gonna pass the test or not. So
Yeah.
I believe whatever you go through in life, it's just a test. And whatever decision you make, when you make the wrong decision because you
Mm-hmm.
keep digging yourself in the hole. But when you start making the right decisions, everything start
Aligning.
coming, yeah, aligning and coming to life, and that's the light at the end of the tunnel. So the Most High don't make mistakes. So whatever
No.
you actually been through your life is actually made for you to go through that stuff, and He
Yeah.
knows you better than He know Himself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so real.
that's very real.
And also the discernment to like stay on course with whatever your actual path is. You got to
Right,
have discernment.
right,
Yeah.
and,
To.
and you gotta pray for guidance too. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta pray for guidance to actually have the Most High. Pray to Him and actually guide your footsteps.
Yeah.
And once you do that, then He starts sending you signs. He ain't gonna tell you what the answer is. He's like, look, you got
No.
different options. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna send
Yep.
you
You have all
signs.
the tools you need to figure it out.
Exactly. So
So figure it.
figure it out because He's gonna send the devil to actually trick you on some things to see if you're gonna make the same mistake you actually did before.
Mm, yeah.
So after college, that's when you started working for the NBA, or did you have any other jobs before that?
I started working for the NBA right after I graduated.
Nice, nice, nice.
Hmm.
So tell us about that. Tell about that process, how you became part of the NBA family.
Yeah. So, like I said, I really fell into it because I interned
Mm.
at the NBA my junior year, and then
Oh yeah, wow.
yeah, because we just happened to be recruiting on our campus, and then came back after I graduated as an associate, which is our recent college graduate program. You train for a year with 4 different departments, and then they send you out into the world, the NBA world, and you get a full time position. So, um, I grew up with the NBA. Like, whenever I think about my time, like my early experiences there, like literally came of age. Like that's where I learned about business, and that's where I had my closest friends, right, in my 20s. And that's where I had a chance to like explore various ideas, like created cool initiatives, and created the Dream in Color. Like I co-founded Dream in Color with
That's
um
right.
one of my friends. Like, what was that, in 2016, right? So when I think about like my early years at the NBA, I'm just grateful because it was, no place is perfect. And I know we can talk about
Hours about that.
yeah, right. But I'm so grateful because it truly is a place where I was able to spread my wings and like I said, being able to dream up dope ideas. And while everything may not be able to come to fruition, like had a chance to pour into some really great passion projects and meet amazing people like yourself. Um i i do, and I still stand by this now that I'm back. Like the NBA truly has some of the most special people that you'll ever encounter. um so that's how I fell into it. I did used to work in our sponsorship group, so doing marketing partnerships.
Yeah.
Um, and then I left in 2018, and then it came back, and now in this.
Saddest day of my life. Like,
And I feel like so many that summer, like so many people left that summer.
yo, a lot of people left.
A lot of people left that summer.
You, Crystal, Tyler, everybody.
Yeah, it was like a mass exodus, mass wave.
Yeah, yeah. But it was
Um,
time to grow. It was time to grow some more. Yeah.
yeah, and what I'll say about that is, I didn't leave. I when you know something's done, like the season, like your season in a particular place, whether it be a place, an assignment, a
Yeah.
job,
Just
a
no more time to
relation,
grow. Yeah.
right? Like and I just had this. I could hear God like in my ear, and I'm just like, all right, I know it's time. I did all I could do in this season. Um, so yeah, so I left and I answered my call to ministry and went to get my master's in divinity and you know,
Let's talk about that. Yeah. You went back to
yeah.
you went to Durham, North Carolina.
Yes.
And man,
Oh,
tell us
being
about that
a
experience.
hot girl in the South. It was great. We used to I miss Durham. We used to I miss my friends from down there. Every Thursday we used to go like to this local restaurant. They had like karaoke and stuff there, but we would get lemon pepper wings and Hennessy every Thursday.
Tradition.
Yeah, like so stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It was also just nice, especially after working in New York City for what, 5, 6 years. It was nice to move down south and have a slower pace of life. So I'm really grateful for that. My time at Duke was phenomenal. Like that was and then being in seminary is a very getting your master's in divinity is a very interesting degree because people are like, well, what do you do? Do you just read the Bible like a billion times, from like front to back? Like, yes, you do read the Bible, but a lot of it is you're learning about a lot of history about the formation of the church and all the good, the bad, the ugly
Oh
that comes with
yes.
that. You're learning about other religions. So I took time to read, learn about the Quran, learn about the Torah, right? Like, because the point of seminary is to expose you, like I said, to all elements, especially when you're in divinity school, like all elements or as much as you can in your 3 years, all aspects of religion. So like it's it was both an academically challenging time. I actually read so much and we had so much reading that I never wore glasses until I got to seminary.
Wow.
I had to get glasses after my like my first year. So, yeah,
That's a lot of reading.
it's a lot of reading. So it's an academically challenging time, a lot of reading, a lot of writing, but it's also a spiritually challenging time. So you hear, and I saw it with some of my classmates, you know, it, it it's a Christian school. It was all based in Christianity, even though we are, like I said, we are learning about other religions,
Mhm.
Christian based. But I have some classmates, and I've heard this with other people who've gotten their masters in divinity, who actually end up turning away from Christianity during their time there. And it's because your beliefs are being challenged in different ways, and they want your beliefs to be challenged because right, like the point is for you to wrestle with the faith. It's not supposed to be spoon fed to you. It's meant for you to wrestle and be challenged. So I know classmates and have heard of stories of people turning away, converting to other religions, just so many things. Like it's a spiritually challenging time. Um
No,
so
absolutely, absolutely. Like I grew up Baptist, so
mhm.
what I was taught from the cradle, and actually rebellion, and actually coming back, um, and actually trying to find where I belong. There are a lot of like you said, challenges,
Yeah.
and it goes very very deep because I had to find who I really am, who my nationality is, and stuff like that. Because being African American is not nationality.
Mhm.
It can't be at two places at once. So it's like you got to really, really go study
Mm,
and really, really, you know, dive in to find out. Because when I found out I was actually really Jew, bloodline Jew, it was around me the whole time, but I never asked any
wow.
questions.
Wow.
And that's as young people, that's the issue. If we have elders,
You got to talk to
you
them.
gotta talk to him because the answer's right in front of your face.
Yeah. And I would underscore that, like, especially to your listeners, talk to your elders, take videos of them when they're talking. Cause it's like that's our history. We have to document our history. So it's not only talking, or oral history is very powerful. So yes, that, but like also as much as possible as you can, if you can record our elders talking about things and sharing stories, like that is invaluable.
Absolutely, and you got to talk to the elders because they would actually open doors for you that you and actually
Yeah.
have you confounded of what you actually did know. I didn't know I had a family history book on my father's side. It's actual
Mm.
from day
Like
one
a
to
physical book?
a physical book. Like once we came, all the records, once we came off the slave ships doing the transatlantic slave trade, from day
Yes.
one all the way to present. I didn't even know that at all. So I
Wow.
actually had a question. I had to ask one of my aunts on my father's side, do we have like a family? He's like, yeah, yeah. Like I was
Wow.
like, oh my god, it was the answers was in front of me the whole time,
Right there.
right there, mind
My.
blowing.
See, that's,
Family reunions is important.
say that one more time.
Family reunions are important.
Yeah, they are. And sharing documents like that during reunions are important. You know, when you were talking about that and then when you said how'd you phrase it? You said being African American, it's,
Oh no, African American, like African American is not a nationality. It's like
yeah, it's
being
not a
two places.
nationality.
It's like
Yep.
being two places at once.
Exactly.
You know?
And like that made me think of the I feel like I've been seeing this quote even more recently, but you know, the James Baldwin quote where he's like being African American is African without any memory and then American without any privilege, right? Like that, it's so real.
And the term African American is not that old. It actually was created in the '80s by Jesse Jackson when he joined for president. And
Yeah.
before that, we was called Negro. We was called colored before that. So what
Yeah.
is actually our nationality? So we got a little,
That's
like the saying is the best thing to hide anything from a black person is what? Put it in the book.
yeah.
And you got to go to the library
Yeah.
because the answers is out there.
And that's it. You got to start there.
You gotta start there.
And
Um,
we have to be intentional about what we're reading,
right.
what sources you're getting this stuff from.
The actual right sources.
Yeah.
Or I agree with you. Or so after you actually you went to graduate school, right? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So after you finished that, you came back to an MBA,
I did.
and now you are a manager for social responsibility department. Tell us about that. Tell us about what you do and all
Yeah.
that good stuff.
Yes, yes, yes. So I graduated in May 2021. You know, it's funny because if you would have asked me when I originally left in 2018, I would have said, "Oh no, like that's it." I never thought I was coming back to the NBA. Not for anything bad, just to that point about the season being done. I was like, "Oh, I'm done with that season." Um, so NBA, especially over the past 2 years, has really gotten into leaning into social justice and social impact work. And so that's the reason why I came back. Um, I during my time in seminary at Duke at Divinity School, what I really focused on was faith rooted organizing, community organizing, and advocacy work. And I really got, especially in the midst of the pandemic, was getting in the weeds of organizing, especially across. I came back to New Jersey for a little bit, where I'm from, especially in the midst of New Jersey, organizing marches, advocating for. I worked on a lot of like 3 or 4 different pieces of legislation that I was helping lobbying around, advocating for. So really just getting in the weeds of and developing like well, not developing. I already had the passion for it, but really feeding my passion for advocacy work. And so once I graduated and was presented with this opportunity at the NBA to help with our social justice programming, it was a no brainer for me. Like, I still love sports, love the NBA. And the reason why I came back is because if you look at it, even just by the numbers, obviously most of our players are Black, what, 80% of our players, and then most of our fans are Black. And so, in the midst of coming off the heels of the pandemic and the multi pandemics that we've had, right, of racial injustice, I mean, police brutality isn't new. It's not new, it's just recorded now. But, coming off these pandemics of that, the rise in health equity, well, that's not new either. It's just getting exacerbated by the pandemic. So, all these things, all these different injustices that we saw in the midst of the pandemic, um, I felt a duty to I felt a duty to give back in one of two ways. I had an option to either stay more on the grassroots level and continue organizing on that front, or, when I was presented with this opportunity to go back into corporate America, um, I could then, go to a place that was obviously heavily resourced and, think about justice from the inside out. And so that's why I decided to go back to the NBA. And that's, the lens that I always approach the work that I do. And when you think about social justice, what that means for Marcy is, pouring into programs that promote economic equity across Black and Brown communities, that promotes police reform, that promotes, career advancement. We do a lot with HBCU. So, like, those are the things that I'm focused on, but I'm always doing it from that lens of like a redistribution of resources to the most disadvantaged community. So that's what I do, and like I love what I do. And I sometimes, yeah, some of the days get hard and aggravating, but I always just remind myself of why I came back. And like the fact that like God has blessed me with an opportunity to be able to make even just a small impact, through this sports platform.
Absolutely. What is your 5 year plan?
I don't even. Oh gosh. 5 years, professionally or personally, or both.
Let's do both.
Okay. I'll start professionally. Yeah, you know, I can't fully answer that. I do know I have a heart for social impact work. I don't know if it's going to continue like being here like on the corporate side and doing social impact. Like I said, I do enjoy what I do. I do think long term I would like to be overseeing, a social impact group down the road. Or the other side of that is, maybe going back into like the do good space, and being a nonprofit and leading from that way. But um, definitely staying in something related to social impact, advocacy, and justice, all while continuing to. So I'm a minister, so all while continuing to, grow as a minister, and then, eventually pastoring a church of my own. So that's like 5 year plan, um, like vocation wise. Personally, 5 years, let's see, hoping I got a family of my own by that point. Um, want some babies, God willing.
How many babies you want?
I say two
Okay.
because I have a feeling I'm going to end up with an oh baby and probably have three. I don't want any more than three kids.
Two is
Um,
safe. Two is safe.
yeah. It's two, but knowing that like I probably will end up with three. Um, so yes, I want that. I want
Wait,
to.
what's your ideal man? Like, what characteristics you look for a man?
Yeah, I actually so the same way I'm very big on this, the same way you plan for your career and we write down all our goals for career and educational aspirations. Like I've written down, what I want or pray for in a partner. So I have a list of a few things that are just non-negotiables for me. Those include one, um, you have to, believe in God, and not only just believing in God, but also like actively practicing. I need you to have a spiritual life of some sort. Um Emotional and physical wellness. So I mentioned running, like I still run and work out. I need the same in my partner because not only do we need to be elevating spiritually, but we need to be elevating physically.
Mhm.
And then also like emotionally, right? So like, have you gone to therapy at some point? Or, what is the outlet for, you know, wrestling with the feelings that you have and the emotions? So physical, mental, and spiritual wellness. Empathy. Empathy is really big for me. I'm a feeler. That's why I'm in the vocation that I am. Like, it makes sense. But I need somebody that can also. I don't need you to be on the same level as me or have the same exact passions, but I need somebody who can empathize. So like that's a big thing. And then service oriented. So whatever service means to you. For example, like you said, you're building a media empire right now. So like, does that look like at when you get everything all in a pretty bow and you have everything fully blown, how are you giving back to the other little boys and girls who want to know more about producing podcasts or, learning about producing music and things like that? Like, how are you giving back from a service oriented mindset to the industry that you're in? So that's service. And then the last thing, I'll say is music. So I'm a really big music head. So
Me too.
it's funny, like this is one I don't care. It's one of my non-negotiables. You have to love music, and you also have to enjoy live music and going to concerts and things like that. Because I do think concerts and live music is just like, oh, it's just such an amazing uh,
Experience.
experience, and just to see people like coming together and the energies and the vibes, it's just irreplaceable. So,
What's your favorite type of music?
I go back and forth. Right now, I'm listening to a lot of R&B. I've been listening to a lot of PJ Morton,
Okay.
like R&B soul. I listen to a lot of gospel music. I listen to, it's interesting. I haven't been listening as much over the past like month, but a lot of soca music. So I really like I'm not West Indian, but I love West Indian culture.
Mhm.
So I listen to a lot of soca music normally. But yeah. So R&B, gospel, soca.
Yeah, yeah, I'm an R&B type. I like old school R&B, like Uncle R&B, like Temptation.
Yes. Okay.
Uncle Charlie. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes, a lot of Earth,
I
Wind,
do,
and
I do
Fire.
like my '90s R&B as well. My 112s, my Jagged Edges, and all that.
A good 90s R&B playlist.
Yeah, '90s
Yeah,
R&B. It's
is the best.
that and '70s R&B. Oh my god.
Yes, I do have a good 70s R&B playlist that I normally vibe out to. 70s R&B, 80s is cool, but like 70s and 90s,
Yeah, the '70s is the most sample era.
yes, I believe that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, Miss Amber Sky, I would like to thank you
Oh,
for being on the show. Many more to come. It's not the first. That's not the first and only time you're gonna be on the show. No,
okay.
hopefully, I would like to have you back on the show as well. We got any other projects you're working on, like to promote it on this platform. Is you're officially associate alumni, so you can actually come on the show. Like,
Yeah.
hit me up, like Jeff. What's up? I got this coming. I got HBCU coming up. What's up? So just
Oh, I'll be back to promote that 'cause, we gotta promote the HBCU game.
absolutely, absolutely.
Exactly.
You're an amazing person. More power and blessings to you. And I pray that the Most High actually continue to bless you and your ministry, and also guiding others on how to get and find themselves in this world, this evil world that's about to come to
Mm.
an end real soon. But more power to you. Thank you so much. And I'm very, very grateful right now.
Oh, I'm so grateful for you. And blessings to you. This is ministry.
Yes, it
Giving
is.
people a platform to be able to share their experiences and sharing your gifts. This is a form of ministry. So I pray for continued covering
Thank
for
you.
you and continued blessings, and just again, I'm very grateful for the time and for you.
Thank you so much for that. Everybody, that's the Inner Associate Conversations Season 5, Episode 5. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, hit that bell to get notifications when we drop new episodes. Also, if you'd like to send donations to the show, the doors of the church is actually open right now.
Woo!
So the dollar sign, Saucy Nation 18 is on the ticket below. Make sure you actually support the show, support our
Yeah,
sponsors, Holistic Remedy, black owned company as well. They got body creams, body oils, all that stuff. We're in the pandemic, always washing your hands be all ashy and stuff like that. So
it's
get some of
getting
that
cold.
body. Yeah, yeah.
Nasty.
Make sure you head over to teespring.com, social conversations /coach conversations, and you actually can check out all the official merch that we have. It's getting cold out there, so we got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got socks, and we got something for the pets. So we got pet hoodies. Some of you got pets, got dogs and cats. The winter time is coming, so make sure you get you a pet hoodie, a social conversation pet hoodie.
Mhm.
What I'm saying? We got pillows, we got curtains, we got everything you need. So make sure you actually go to support on Teespring, and also support the other podcast as well, Social Discourse. If you love sports, that's a great sports show for you. We'll be going in. If you want to be on the show, you got to bring the facts. But that's the Inner Social Conversations. Peace and love, Miss the real Amber Scott,
Hey.
and drop a saucy bomb on that one. And the good words of Fat Joe.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Peace and love, everybody. Hold on, Amber.